Hello everyone, welcome to William in the Magic Box. Today on our show, you're going to have Louis. Louis is from South Africa, but he lives in London, in the UK. So let's see what Louis has to say. Enjoy the interview. So hello Louis, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this evening for the interview. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
So tell me, how's your day going so far? Your evening?
Not too bad. Just a little bit busy, but not too bad.
So tell me, what has been the highlight of your day today?
I think it's probably just because I can feel a bit of summer coming along,
Totally.
and I think that you can feel it in your whole body.
Absolutely. Make a difference, doesn't it, when you see the
Yes, it
sun
does, yeah.
shining? And tell me where you're from, Louis.
Originally from South Africa.
Hmm. And I believe you're based in London right now.
Yeah, I came to London about probably about 25 years ago.
And why
So I'm
London?
a British citizen now, yeah.
And why London?
Well, I think it was probably looking back now, even when I was at school, it was probably just one of those things that you just wanted to end up in. And I think it was just the whole culture, the music, the art, all of that that sort of it really attracted me more than anything.
And where's about in South Africa you are from?
Well, I'm actually from a very, very small mining town, just sort of near Johannesburg. And from there, I went to study down in Stellenbosch in the Cape.
Mhm.
And I think just sort of going in that big leap from one place to the other makes you want to sort of go, oh, well, if you can do that, you can probably go anywhere in the world. So you become a citizen of the world and just, instead of being confined in one place.
Totally. And your family are all back in South Africa or they are came to London as
Yes,
well?
I've got my dad and my sister and her daughter, my niece,
Amazing. And what do you do for work, for living, Louis?
a healthcare professional.
So tell me a little bit about your job.
Well, it's working in a community mental health team.
I
And
see.
so you sort of you work with people being referred by GPs and so on. And yeah, you just work on a team full of people and it's a sort of multidisciplinary approach. And from there, yeah, you just either refer them onwards from there, or you decide whether you can work with them a little bit or send them back to the GP after some work you've done.
That's amazing. Very interesting. Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's quite rewarding.
And also, I know that you're an actor and also a model as well.
Yeah, so that's sort of a bit of a part-time thing on the side.
So tell me a little bit how everything started.
Well, I think it was just sort of over the years, doing a bit of, more of the amateur stuff. And
Hmm.
then from there, I think it was just more from what I think these days you become you can sort of you can become a self you can self-promote a lot more. So I think you don't need to be so tied down to agencies and things like that. I think you can just be your own boss basically. And I think once you realize that the whole world is your oyster, especially today in this world of social media and that kind of thing.
I totally agree with you. I think nowadays is more open now. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the umbrella is more open. Before you need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go
yeah.
through.
But all the channels you could go through. And if
Yes.
you see, I mean, I know that there's the word content creator. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a bit of a loose word, but I guess that is a sort of new term for what you see today is people just taking their own reins and
Tot-
and and being quite creative, I think, in that way.
Totally. And I think people they are more open-minded about it as well. Professional TV professionals like directors, producers, they kind of they have more a open way of seeing out there, not just that's one thing. You know what I mean? So I think
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
they're amazing. Okay, so before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, yeah, when I was checking your profile, there was a little phrase there that got my attention. And I think you already said, but I'd like to double check with you. It says there, London is swinging.
Yes.
So what do you mean by that?
I think what I always and I think that is exactly what I meant when I said initially moving here from way back. It was for me the excitement and the energy of London, and it's also the changing nature of it and the what's the word? it's just such a vibrant city that it never stands still. It's like the River Thames. It just keeps flowing and flowing with the times. And if you want to look at anything classic, it's there, but anything modern is also there. So that is the, for me, it's just it swings between the two constantly, and there's constantly that flow. And I think that is the beauty of London. And I think that is the allure of London.
Amazing. Louis, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through memories in life and share your point of views?
Yes, yes.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend, full of wonderful questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question. Okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Right, so before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to answer, don't want to talk about, always can change. Okay?
Sure.
Amazing. First question is, what is a significant event that has changed you?
I think for me, it must be when I actually went into rehab.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that was quite a change. And it was now 10 years ago. And I think for me, it gave me a new chance to sort of, it was like a second chance at life. And I think having struggled for more than 10 years with something that just became so soul destroying, I think that was for me the most life-changing event ever. And it's not easy always to admit it, but I think it is a very significant one because it's literally like you die and you become alive again. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow, I think it's amazing you're sharing that because it's very, as you said, very brave to talk about because something
Yeah, I mean, I thought to myself, would I say it or not? But then I thought, well, you said life-changing and be honest about it. So yeah.
amazing. And it's, again, it's about helping others and also healing as well because,
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think after that, the most common thing to do is to go into sort of some kind of service. And
mhm.
fortunately, with me being in my field, I think it allows more of that to happen on a day-to-day basis anyway, so.
And when was the time that did something happen or you just felt like, okay, I need to change my life journey. I need to start something else, something, different. Did something happen or just kind of, realize that like naturally?
You mean going in?
Yeah, like
I
change
think
your
it's very much, I mean, it's obviously it's a question of just reaching a point where you crash.
Mhm.
I think there's just a point where there is no way further. So it's not really a decision, but it was just a blessing that it was, available. I was very fortunate to
I
have
see.
been able to go. So for me, it was just like, wow, it's like a ticket you just hand to me. It wasn't a question of a decision even then. It was just like, of course, it's a no-brainer. I've been waiting for this so long.
Wow.
I just didn't know how to put it into words.
Wow, beautiful. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Louis. Next question is, if you could have been a moment or event in history, which one that would be and why? For any reason.
I would have liked to have been somewhere where someone discovered something, like a big explorer. Say, for instance, Christopher Columbus reaching a new world, having
Uh,
been at sea for so long, and then that feeling of will you ever you see the horizon change, and especially during the times when there were, the people felt that the world was flat, for instance, to have gone and
yes.
made a discovery like that and to come back and change people's views. I would have been like to have been there when he came back to
Wow.
tell people that and to see the reactions of people when such a monumental change comes across the world like a ripple. I mean, a
Amazing.
lot of people got burned for things like that, but I mean, I think to have been there to see it would have been just, it would have made, for me, it would have been a question of, you know, if that can be questioned, then so many other things can be questioned.
Absolutely. And of course, you know, you've been living in London for so many years. And what do you miss the most about South Africa when you think about your country? There's something besides your family, of
A
course.
little bit more sunshine. But yes, I miss swimming in the sea
Uh-huh.
a lot. The sea there is a little bit more, I think it's wilder. And
Right.
I do like swimming in the sea wherever I go. And but there it's just a little bit more untamed, I always feel, than when you go swimming in the UK, for instance. But so I miss that. I miss that wildness.
And you kind of go to visit very often or not?
I
Not really.
try once a year, yeah.
Yeah. I see. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, so before the next question, what do you like the most about your job? What's the biggest joy of it? And the flip side, what do you find most challenging about your career?
Um, I think I'll have to say that it's probably just because I'm curious as a person and I'm curious about other people. It is
Mhm.
very rewarding. Just you know when you work with people and you
Yeah,
get to know the human condition in that way, and you get to know a lot about yourself. Um,
totally.
and as you help others, you often realize that there's a nugget or a pearl of wisdom in there when you try and help others. So there's something in there for you too. It's not like it's what you're there for, but it's just it's almost like it comes like a bonus.
And the flip side, what do you find most challenging?
Um, I do find it challenging when it comes with an element of abuse of the system and therefore also abuse of the people who work in the field. And
Mhm.
it's all often as a result of someone with a mental illness, but it's often not. So, I mean, I'm not going to say too much about that because it's a difficult territory to say that you are affected by some of the abuse that comes your way, verbal abuse or whatever, and that you should take it in your stride. But it's not easy when it happens on a day-to-day basis. So that's a bit of a challenge, and I think you have to navigate your way a lot through that. But I think if you manage to, and if it's not something that becomes a really big problem, then I think it is, if, as long as you get a lot of support, then you can manage it, I guess.
I see. Okay. Next question is, what do you consider most romantic?
Taking time to do little things. Like, I think small things are very romantic, like just finding a little note on a fridge. That's all that matters.
Do you consider
Just to say
yourself to
that,
be a
you know,
romantic
someone's
person?
just thinking of you, yeah. That
Sorry,
that is very romantic, yeah.
do you consider yourself to be a romantic person?
I never did, but I do now, actually, lately.
And how come somehow it's kind of, you know, flourish in
I
your.
think I think it probably also had to do with having recovered and then also going through a journey of finding yourself a little bit more and
Mhm.
initially feeling quite cynical about it, but then realizing you're not so cynical after all.
Totally. Saying that, when you think about Louis, when you think about yourself, what's the biggest joy of being you? What do you like the most about being Louis?
My laughter and my sense of humor.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Louis. Next question for you is: who is a celebrity you admire and why?
I admire someone like, I think I would have to say, just give me a moment. There's so many that I can think of, but if I have to really think, I would have to choose someone like an actress like Kate Blanchett. I always admire her. Yeah, because she's so I don't know, I think she's just so stylish and just so good at what she does, and she's just incredible the way she in her field she not only manages to be so incredible at what she does, because I think I always admire people like that who can enter a situation and just steal the entire show. You know, whether it's at a interview on screen at a chat show or in a movie or whatever, or just being you know, modeling for a designer, or just, you know, representing a charity or something. It's just done with such incredible style, and it, being so original about it and so effortless. I think for me that is something that is admirable. So it's not just being an actress, but also being you know, a role model, a spokesperson, an ambassador. You can rely on that kind of person to you know, to do the job and to do it well, whatever
You
it
know,
is.
I have the pleasure of meeting her one day in person, actually.
Really? Wow.
Yes,
What is she
yes,
like? Nice.
I
As nice
like
as I describe her.
absolutely. You describe it now, and it's funny because I was working in a five-star hotel, you know, a few years ago, and she was there, and she was staying for like a quite few days, and she had I think three kids, if I'm not wrong, and she was
Yeah,
down
I think so.
for.
Yeah.
She's quite tall, actually. I was surprised. She was quite tall, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because she was warded room service. Sometimes we were going to the room, and she was literally like talking to you like a normal, like a regular person. I was like, my God, this is very down to earth, and I couldn't believe, you know, I was
Yeah.
literally just like in front of her because the way she was treating you was like she was a regular person. I was like, wow, that's amazing to see.
But see, I think that's the key there. You can sort of almost just see that it will be an effortless thing anyway. Anything would be effortless, you know. You just
Totally
know it.
amazing. Next question. Ready?
Mhm.
Let's do it. Next one. Right. How would your best friends describe yourself?
Offbeat, um, alternative, other, humorous, funny, original, I hope. Um, and loyal.
Which person in your life right now you feel more connected with or more close to?
Which friends?
Which person in your life right now you feel more connected with or more close to in your life?
Well, I would probably say my partner at the moment. We've been together
Oh,
for about more than 15 years now, so
oh my God,
I
that's
guess
amazing.
that's if you don't realize it, obviously, but it's a sort of a no-brainer too, because it's really just someone who's there all the time. So it's like
Oh,
you don't almost have to talk or anything. That's the kind of connectedness that I think that you build up over time, which is sort of interesting and quite fascinating about the human being.
wow. Okay, so your partner is watching this interview right now. When you have a moment, an opportunity to send him a message, what would you say?
I think I would probably say thank you for putting up with me.
And how did your path cross, if you can share?
I think we met on social media, you know, this day and age. That's how you would sort of, you know, navigate your way through life. And I think one thing just led to another. And yeah,
Oh, and so far, what has been the most meaningful lesson you've learned from him?
that no one is perfect. And when you realize that, you stop judging yourself and others.
Amazing. Cool. Next question. Let's do it. You like dancing, Louis?
Yes, I do.
Before the next question, you know, growing up as a gay boy back in South Africa, yeah, how was it for you? Did you have the support of your family at the time? You know, your surrounding, or was quite difficult for you?
It wasn't very easy because I grew up in a very sort of staunch religious background. And back then it was a sort of Dutch Reformed kind of, religious approach, I would say. And it's obviously not very easy on that topic of homosexuality and that kind of thing. And it filters through in schools and all of that. So if the church, I think with the church, if that's the church's, it's a powerful voice often. Not often, it's always been a powerful voice. And it's so powerful that it will make families turn against each other. So
Yeah,
no, it wasn't easy. And that's one aspect, and the other aspect comes from the sort of social aspect that doesn't care about the church and just wants to bully whatever is different or other.
yeah,
And no, yeah, so it was very heavily charged with those influences. So it wasn't very easy, no.
I see. Okay. Next question is, define yourself in a season of the year and why.
I would have to say spring, because for me, spring, I like the two seasons, either spring or autumn, the most. I can never decide between the two because they are the ones that it's sort of just the promise of something to come. And I like the fact that it's also a sort of regeneration. So that it's the promise of something that's going to regenerate and heal and recover and bloom again. That's why spring just comes with a lot of excitement.
Wow. Saying that, what's the meaning of life for you?
The meaning of life. Good, if I knew that, I'd tell you. I would have told you long ago. Um, I think it is to not always know everything about life and to have something still be a mystery and be happy with that. And to really be easy on yourself through it all and to try and enjoy that mystery a little bit more relaxed.
Do you think happiness is a choice?
It is a state of being. So it's a choice. Yeah, you can. It's a choice.
3 questions left. Let's do it. Hey, Louis, next question is, if you won the lottery, what would be your first big splurge?
A walk-in closet. I swear to God, I need a walk-in closet. That would be my first big splurge. A huge walk-in closet.
Tell me how when you realized that acting for you was something that what was part of you as well. There was a moment, or just kind of through life you realized that.
I think it's also just seeing lots of people, like I said, with Kate Blanchett, but for instance, seeing people be so unbelievably magnetic and to realize that they must have also just gotten a script somewhere, like everybody else, and to have just made it their own. There's a part that doesn't come with the script, that doesn't come with any director. You have to sort of bring your own bit to it. So, and I think that is the one that really sort of made me go, wow, yeah, like it
Oh,
resonates.
I see. Cool. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, before the next question, tell me in your opinion, what's the biggest cause, of mental health issues nowadays, in the world, or, in London, big cities. There is something in your opinion that people they are suffering a lot with that, like the biggest cause, in your opinion?
Well, I would say today, it's probably a lot to do with, I would say social media is probably at the root cause of a lot of emerging and existing mental illnesses.
Wow. And why is that, so, do you think?
Well, it comes, like I said previously, in so many facets and platforms and dangerously addictive forms of doing these things, and engaging in it. And not only that, there's the added pressure of the what people should look like, and all of that. And then there's predatory aspects of it. It just, I mean, I can just list it on and on and on. People with depression and anxiety will just get worse and worse because, they'll engage in it. And it's all about engaging in things the wrong way. It's there, sure it is. It's not going to go away, but how do you use it?
Totally.
It's like anything in life. If you use it in moderation and you don't let it rule you, then I think you can navigate your way through it. But I think a lot of people don't seem to be able to. And I think
Yeah,
it's behind a lot of struggles, real struggles.
totally. I think social media, most of the time, they try to sell perfection, what does exist,
Yeah, totally. And it doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
No, it
It doesn't
doesn't. And
exist.
people,
Whatever you see, it's all fabricated. It's
totally,
fabricated.
totally. And I think, we need to understand that it's just a moment. For example, when someone posts like a picture, like ourselves, you can post something that sometimes we feel happy about it, or just feel like we feel good about
Totally.
it.
It should just be it should be your
It's,
own thing to do. I'm not telling people what to do. If you
of
want to
course,
post 700 pictures of yourself, go for
totally,
it. But don't let it rule your life. That's
yeah. And I think for who is seeing as well, just understand that this
yeah.
picture or this moment is not forever. They are just
No,
sharing
no, no, no,
moments,
no, no, no,
in the
no,
comparison
no.
there.
Go and
Because people,
it should be inspirational. It should be
yes,
creative. It should be fun and playful, and it should be just
totally.
interactive. But
Yeah,
somehow it's become horrible. It can become really horrible. So
yeah,
yeah.
cool. Next question is, which bad habits you wish you could stop?
Um, being impatient.
You always being or not?
I'm always impatient. I'm impatient too often.
What's your star sign astrology?
Aquarius.
Okay, I see. Cool. And when you find yourself, impatient, there is something for you to kind of slow down or kind of, got yourself together.
Actually a bit of mindfulness does help
Hmm.
because once you become impatient, for instance, in a traffic jam, you'll become impatient. And when you just suddenly look to your right or to your left, or you just take yourself back into the car and say, I'm in the car, not out there where I want to be killing someone. Then you sort of come back to yourself a little bit. And I think that brings me back to being patient. So I think bringing you back, centering yourself a little bit and taking a breath and so on, and then just saying something that pops into your head, something silly, and then just smiling.
Actually, it's funny you saying that because I'm an overthinker, and when I find myself in that mood, I just
Mm.
make a joke with myself. I go like, William, you are there again.
Yeah,
Somehow
no, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah.
distract
You should,
myself.
but you should talk to yourself very nicely. Don't be,
Yeah.
because I also sometimes have a bad tendency to be hard on myself, but like, oh, come on, don't be so stupid.
Yes, that's so
You should
true.
stop doing that because it's not really nice. It's just,
We
you know,
need to always remember to look in the mirror, go like, you're doing
yeah,
well.
yeah,
You need to always remember.
exactly. You don't have to baby yourself, but I mean, you could be nice to yourself.
Last question, ready? Let's do it. Last question. Before the last question, Louis, people watch this interview. Maybe they are suffering with like a mental health problem, something that they are not, maybe they don't find a way out or something that's bothering them. And they, what would be your best piece of advice for someone who somehow feel that they are lost or alone and they don't see somehow a way out?
I think the first thing you would probably have to say, I've honestly, and even then, and I think the best thing to say to people is something that's probably happened to yourself instead of just giving blind advice that you read from a book.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the first step to be would to say, don't never give up.
Mm-hmm.
Just put it on a piece of paper and put it on a wall. And just when you feel like that, just read that. That honestly just makes you take that next small step and then the next small step and the next small step. The next small step could just be to look up a number for someone or to help. The next small step could just be to call someone, but at least it was just that one thing that led to the other and the other. And that one thing could just be to say, never give up.
Beautiful. Next question is, how do you describe a perfect, healthy relationship?
Humor,
Uh-huh.
intimacy, connected, same yet different, complementary, and communicative.
I like that. I love that. I love the list. Yeah, I think
Simple.
relationship is a maintenance every single day. I think it's always, roller coaster with up and downs, but there's a beauty on it. And you know very well, I've been 15 years relationship, and I think it's amazing. Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Let's start with money.
Freedom.
Fear.
The absence of reason.
Family.
Salt of the earth.
One word for life.
Evolve.
Love.
Shine.
Religion.
Beware.
Sex.
Play.
Politics.
Avoid.
Friendship.
Cherish.
Desire.
Fuel.
Regret.
Moderation.
Success.
Pardon?
Success.
Small step.
Wish.
Many.
One word for happiness.
Acceptance.
One word for London.
Hectic.
Really? One word for South Africa.
Sunny.
One word for Nelson Mandela.
Hero.
And the last one now, acting, one word.
Madness.
Beautiful. Let's pretend I'm going to meet your partner for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him, define Louis in one positive and one negative word only, what he would say.
Positive. It would have to be adventurous.
Okay. Negative?
Negative. Bad temper.
Interesting. Let's play now Louis and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before asking the question, what's your favorite African word? Afrikaans word.
It must be, actually, I'll use this one. It's fabelachtig.
Fabelachtig. Which means?
It's a sort of a combination of fabulous and fantastic almost. It's like it's a little bit almost like just that little bit elevated.
I like that. Okay, you can ask me a question now, Louis.
Okay, well, since we were talking about stuff like social media, I was thinking about this with social media as an extension and a channel of almost like artificial intelligence and increasingly entering our lives on so many levels. This kind of exposure to so much stimulation can either be beneficial or for the organism, human beings, or detrimental, as proven already. So how do you navigate your way in this parallel universe, so to speak, to keep safe and sane?
What a great question. I love the question. You know, Louis, I'm gonna go back to one point first. When we talk about perfectionism, yeah, I like very fast. I realized that when I sign up for my accounts on social media, and I remember in the beginning I was posting my travels, I was posting moments like I mentioned before, and I realized that when we start tagging friends, other people, I just realized that somehow I was exposing my daily routine, or somehow people were tagging me in other posts, and I was a bit like confused. So the way I found to navigate on social media to be to enjoy it, somehow to be in there as well, is about, again, first thing is there's no perfectionism there. What people are posting or what something, you can filter as well. It's exposed. You can filter. You can somehow protect yourself somehow.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think also how navigate is, try to see or to focus something that it benefits you or people around you, something that's gonna get your attention, something that you can learn, something that you're gonna take something out of it. So that's how I find. That's how I navigate it. And sometimes, again, sometimes I find myself on YouTube just watching something very silly or something that doesn't just bring me something different or nice or funny, but at the same time as well, I try to just to filter. I think filtering, is I think the best way for you to kind of somehow navigate there. Enjoy the journey, enjoy there, post something that you like. It's not, there are no rules. I think you are your own rule to post it, to benefit.
Absolutely.
So it's all about you be more aware of it. Yeah, be more understanding, be more aware what you see there, what's something that can brings you from there as well. And have fun. I think it's about having fun. As you said before, have fun. You know what I mean? Don't take too serious, but at the same time as well, just protect yourself somehow and your mental health. I think it's very important about that as well. So yeah, that's my opinion about social media. Cool.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Did you enjoy the interview, Louis?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. You did very well.
Thanks again. Thanks for taking the time for the interview. Thanks for being so kind. I think nowadays, as you know, we are so busy with our own lives, and when someone take their time for us, it's something special. So I appreciate your time again. But before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Well, in this day and age, as we said, with the social media as in question, all the pressures and things to be someone and look like something, I will quote Oscar Wilde as a positive quote, who says, "Be yourself. Everybody else is taken."
It's a good one. I love that. It's something unique about yourself. That's unique. Nobody else can have that. So let's explore that. I think it's the biggest part. Thanks again. Thanks again for the interview, and regards to your partner, and keep in touch. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Okay, have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website www.williamandthemagicbox.com and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye. See you next time.